Good morning, good morning, good morning. And I have Dibio Charger.
Good
Right
morning.
at the beginning, I just said, let me just throw you right in there and
I
say,
mean,
hello,
you
hello.
had me
No,
too.
let me give you a moment.
I was staring my coffee. I was looking down. I was shocked. I'm like, what?
I say, I am going to say hello. It's such a beautiful day out here. Day
It
one,
is. It's
day one.
beautiful. It is
So,
absolutely
how
wonderful.
are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I'm great. You look absolutely fantastic, beautiful as always.
Thank
You know,
you.
I
Thank you.
tried and I said, I'm just gonna put my Chiism shirt on
Yes.
because I can't keep up with her. So
Well, it's good.
I'm all in my rawness.
Oh,
So I'm looking at this beautiful painting of Mona Lisa in the
uh-huh.
black phone.
All right, all right. Thank you.
There
I
you go.
appreciate that. And
You're
I want
welcome.
to add today, it is such a beautiful day to have all of us
Hello, how you
together.
doing? Hi.
Very good.
How are
All
you,
right.
Dr.
Very good.
Monde?
Yes.
In my language, we say "Anyezwe."
Oh yeah.
Here we are. Here we
I
are.
is Zola.
Here we all are. It's so wonderful to have you here today.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
everyone. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Chiism Live, our internet talking space for the global faith ministries of Chiism, a ministry of the Godian religion founded by our supreme spiritual leader, Ahaike Oke Onyoha, who has now joined the ancestors. I know wherever he is spiritually, he and Noha Onyoha, they are all watching over us, just hovering and seeing, okay, are you guys doing what you're
Yes.
supposed to do? So
Yes.
here, I just want to just say what we're doing here. Here we offer you knowledge. That's what we offer on Chiism Live every Sunday. Knowledge, of course, is the scope of information that we gather through the spirit, through this journey. I'm sorry, this journey that we call life. All of us go through it. So as we go through life, we're picking up little bits of information that shape who we become. Knowledge, of course, is the scope of information that you gather, and you need to pay attention to what you're gathering. There are things that you go through in life that you just dismiss, but actually it's all part of what shapes you. On Chiism Live, we focus on the acquaintance with fact, which may or may not be fully reflective of truth as you see it, but we offer intellectual knowledge of the individual and collective minds. Okay, so all of us have collective thought that we want to share with you. It's also all subject to personal judgment and your interpretation. But we do offer spiritual knowledge, which is born of divine mind. All of us have spiritual knowledge. All of us have divine mind in us. So when I say that I'm sharing something spiritual, if I have divine mind in me, that means Chineke in me. What I'm sharing with you, if it's positive, is coming from Chineke.
Yes.
Founded in the principle of Chineke's presence in each one of us, is based on our internal truth. In other words, we focus on what we call bidi kan bidi. Your thoughts are as good as mine. Live and let live. Truth is based on our exposure, experience, our perception. And it's okay if we are exposed to our world differently. But appreciation of this diversity is what coexistence means. So I welcome you with your thoughts, and I share my thoughts with you. Ndewonu.
Yagazie.
Dagazie. Let me offer today, let me start by offering this prayer. Chineke, you have heard our many pleas for your help. When we have asked what we should do to improve our lives, thank you for listening, because we know you listen. We may not see it, we may not feel immediately, but we know that you are there. We have asked why things don't always go away the way that we ask. But we pray that you teach us to understand that everything in our lives are just as the way that you want it to be. We may not appreciate it, but you know what you are doing. So we leave our lives in your hands. We know that you are powerful and you're creating in us every second, every minute within the day, and that our greatness is yet to be seen by the naked eyes. Thank you, we say, as you walk through and for us, for our own betterment, for our own good. Although we are not always happy with our lives, we come to you to try things your way. That's what we're doing today. We want to come to you to find our way through your eyes, through your hands, through your heart. Where we fail, we want you to pick us up. Show us the unlimited abundance, the total well-being and peace beyond understanding available to us for the rest of our lives. We may not understand, but we know you do. Yes. Show us how to climb the biggest mountain, one step at a time and one day at a time. Teach us to slow down. Teach us to understand there is no rush. But what's important is consistency. We pray that you will be with us as we labor and journey on. Show us what we should and need for this journey. What we need to eat, what we need to wear, who we should invite to travel with us. Yes. Or choose to travel alone. Show us, Chineke, when to begin the journey until we reach that top. We know we will get there. It may be it may be difficult initially, but we know with your help and with your guidance, we will get there. We only believe that you will be waiting for us upon our arrival with open arms when we get to the top. We ask all the ancestors, wherever they are, to stay in front of us, behind us, above us, behind us, underneath us. Yes. Walk with us. Mona Chiso. We walk with the Creator, and we walk with you, our ancestors. We are proud that you are our ancestors. We honor you for what you were. We are a reflection of you. When we look in the mirror, we see you, our powerful ancestors. And so when we call upon your name, we are asking you to understand and embrace the fact that we know, we acknowledge that you lived, and through us, you continue to live. Today, we see you as you were. We hope that you see us as we are, a reflection of you. Yagazie, and so it is. We have a very interesting topic today. When the pastor's greed becomes the gospel. When the pastor's greed becomes the gospel. You know, in Igbo Nigerian language, greed is called okpa. That's right. Well, Dr. Monet, you probably need to learn how to say it. Okpa. 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 When they say that somebody is greedy, they say okpa. Okpa. I hope all the people who are with us can say okpa. I just want to kind of read what I put out for this particular program. We're going to be talking about Christian pastors who focus more on what they can get from their congregation, but not what the congregation can benefit from association with the church. Mm-hmm. Now, some of these pastors seek to acquire more and more wealth at the expense of the congregation. Now, you want to think about when a poor person reaches in their pocket and brings out $1. You don't know, when we're talking about somebody who makes $4, if you're lucky, $4 a month. When they reach in there and give you $1, that's a lot for them. What you do with that $1 is important. It's a reflection of what you mean by what, or rather, it's a reflection of what your church is about, what your ministry is about. Is it to take care of yourself, or is it to take care of those who look up to you, your congregation? Many churches use funds to buy lavish homes. You know, I went to the internet before this program. I just went to the internet just to look at some of the lavish homes of these pastors. Please understand, before you misquote me, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being wealthy. My God, wealth is a good thing. Yes. We all seek to be wealthy. Mm-hmm. But it all depends on how we acquire this wealth. Jets. Pastors who acquire jets and all manners of property that become symbols of success to their adherents. So you're not teaching them how to go after making money in a positive way, but to use greed to acquire wealth the way you're doing it. The spiritual intent of your religion becomes obsolete and is replaced by shameless prosperity gospel. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with being wealthy. There's nothing wrong with preaching wealth. It's a good thing. Wealth is a good thing, but it is how you acquire the wealth that's the problem. Now I'm going to begin this discussion by showing you a small video. Okay, I want you to pay attention to that video because you and I are going to discuss this video. All right, it talks about a particular pastor and how he uses the people's money to enrich himself. Remember, the word is enrich himself. This is a show that I saw on Arise Television, and the host spoke about this man. And I want you to pay attention to what they're saying about this pastor, and then we will take it on the other side. Okay, I'm going to start it from the beginning.
In COVID, I bought a jet. In COVID. The third, I have three. The third one. In COVID. I was praying for COVID not to end because I was resting. While people were complaining, my wife asked me, say, can life be this sweet? Am I talking to somebody here? No stress. I read on the net, was it yesterday? Somebody sent it to me. There's a rumor going around that I have a machine that prints money. I like that rumor. Say it should be investigated. He has a machine that prints money. I said, they say, somebody says it's true. I said it's true. Huh? It's risky. I said, I didn't know. I didn't know it's risky. I already bought the machine. When you speak in tongues, you are printing money.
Pastors. Rufai, I didn't know pastors made that much money. I mean, what's happening here?
I'll comment on the school.
No, the pastor, please. Just okay, comment on the story, please.
I'll comment on the pastor. You know, I don't know what to say. You know why? Because I am shocked at how our religious leaders have taken religion. He said, when you are speaking in tongues, you are printing money. That's a lie. I speak in tongues, but I don't print money. That's a pure lie. And you are buying 3 private jets where people are suffering, where people committed suicide due to COVID. And your church members are clapping for you. Let me tell you what happens. It's a mindset of poverty, and people are already aspirational. So when you come and you feed people with that, all they see is aspiration, but they don't see beyond the line. If I had that same money he used to buy jets, I would set up over 40 soup kitchens where people can go and eat for free. The Yorubas have a saying that once you take hunger out of poverty, then poverty has ended. But it shows the misplaced priorities. And that's why when people argue with me that churches shouldn't pay taxes, I say, why will pastors be buying 3 private jets in an economy where 100 million people can't afford to live on $1 a day, 400 naira? Oji is so bad that at the end of the month, 100 million Nigerians cannot have 22,000 naira in their pockets. Then somebody saying is buying a private jet that costs nothing less than $500,000 to $1 million or less. You can see the misnomer. He shouldn't even come out. If he's scared enough, he shouldn't even come out in a nation like this to say this at this point in time, where hunger and poverty is pervasive. It's not a representation of prosperity of God to tell other people that they are stupid for being poor, because that's what you are telling them. And I don't know who his advisors are. He said his wife was there with him and said, life has never been this good. Why didn't his wife go one step further to tell him that, honey, this money you are printing, why don't you use it to support people and help them? You see, we are setting dynamite in place and we are putting matches on it. I pray it doesn't blow up on our faces the way the inequality is going in society. For me, what is shocking is the effrontery at which he comes out to say it. In an economy where people are dying from poverty, Oji, I have seen people die, malnourished, starved to death. And let me just make a quick comment. Yeah. You see, you cannot train the future of Nigeria in a place that looks worse than the Auschwitz concentration camp. That
Give your charger, your thoughts.
I don't know where to start, man. The whole thing is just mind-blowing. People are generally stupid. You know, I say this all the time, and people attack me. Why can't you say that? He has a PhD. I said, no, he's literate, but educated he's not. Right? Your education only has meaning within the fulcrum of your own culture. Anything outside that is null and void. If I manufacture cars, or I'm an engineer and I know how to design cars and all that, I'm from Nigeria, I'm Igbo, I'm from Cameroon, I'm from Kenya. Don't matter where I'm at. But I'm producing cars for Ford Motor Company. What use am I to my people?
Yeah,
I'm of no use. This is just about my own personal survival, feed my family and all that. Most people wake up and think that their responsibility alone in this world is just to take care of their family. No, it's not. You have a communal responsibility beyond just taking care of your family. You need to make sure that your conduct is helping the community to move forward, because if the community moves forward, everybody seems to benefit from you. What is that saying? A rising tide lifts all boats. That should be our mindset. People are generally stupid. I'm sorry to say it. And a part of our stupidity in today's world is due to slavery and colonization. We've been bamboozled, run amok, run astray, self-hatred, hitting your nose, your mouth, your eyes, your physical features. Malcolm X was reiterating that. And it is this self-hatred that is the grandchild of slavery and colonization, that is responsible for what you see in the churches today, where a preacher is telling you you're poor because it's your fault. Fails to address the reason why you are poor. Maybe it's because of your government. Maybe those people that are responsible to herd you are putting your money in their pocket. And by the way, nobody ever said anything about the suit that I seen him wearing on this, whatever it is that he's doing. I don't know if you saw that suit. It beats the heck out of me. But Mr. Preacher Man is over there blaming the people going through the ramifications of COVID as, hey, you know, if you're making money during COVID, I'm making money. But while I'm making money during COVID, I'm going to fail to let you know that the money I'm making is coming from you. See, I'm not just resting because of COVID and because I'm speaking in tongues, I'm printing money. The money is coming from the heavens, because while I'm speaking in tongues, God is showering me with money because I'm speaking in tongues. You're not telling them I'm speaking in tongues because I'm making you feel guilty for whatever it is that you're going through and convincing you to put money in my coffers. So the reason why I'm making money during COVID is because you're stupid. But I'm not going to tell you because I understand that you're too stupid to realize that you're stupid. It's an oxymoron. There's a saying that goes, I think it says, what do you call it? The eye of the needle. It's a rich man would have to, it's difficult for a rich man to go through, to get to heaven. You know, it'd be easier for you to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to go to heaven. Now, Mr. Pastor is rich. You see the oxymoron there? Mr. Pastor is rich. The eye of the needle is actually a narrow gateway in Jerusalem. And, you know, camels are always loaded with goods and stuff like that. So when you get to this narrow gateway, you have to get rid of the goods, you know, get rid of the camel, get off the camel, get all the stuff off the camel so that the camel can pass through this narrow gateway into Jerusalem. Jerusalem is heaven. For you to get there, you got to shed all this crap that is on your camel. But Mr. Pastor is doing the opposite. Mm-hmm. He's trying to get to heaven with a private jet. Mm-hmm. He's not even waiting to die before he gets there. He's like, you know what? Heaven is up there. If y'all just give me some money, I could get me a nice jet plane. I could go on and get to this heaven that is on earth. And he's living it. Meanwhile, prosperity religion tells you that you have to make me rich so that you can have access to the resources that I have. But that ain't true. Because you've convinced these people that with the last little bit of money that they have, they should go and gamble. It's 50-50. Yeah, it's 99% to 1% that you win. Go play the lottery with your last money that you're supposed to go pay your bill with. Go buy a lottery. Maybe you win $1 million and get yourself out of poverty. Mm-hmm. Religion is a business. I spoke to a pastor back in Texas back in 1988, and he just plain out told me, because they were trying to get me to join their church. And I had said to the pastor, listen, Mr. Pastor, I don't mean any disrespect, but you do understand that if the Chinese or the Buddhists had enslaved you here in the United States, you'd be a Buddhist right now.
Yes. He
looked at me and said, you know what, I never thought about it that way. I said, of course you didn't think about it that way. At least I know you understand it, but you're not going to let your congregation know about it. So leave me out of this business about heaven and all that stuff. He told me, well, to be honest with you, the church is a business and you need money to evangelize. You need money to reach more people so you could separate them from their money. It's a business. All the preachers, you see them, they're rich. They got more money than the people in the congregation that have access to your pocketbook. And in some cases, they have access to your women. But you have been convinced.
Your children in church.
Your children. But you have been convinced because people are generally stupid. You are convinced in your family. When your mom was telling you Jesus loves me, they signed up. Then you went to primary school. Then they told you the same thing. Jesus loves me. They signed up. For the Bible told me so. Then you went to high school. Jesus loves me. They signed up. For the Bible told me so. Remember, in primary school, in your household, in primary school, and in high school, you ain't making any money yet. By the time you graduate from high school, all you know is that Jesus loves me. They sign up. For the Bible told me so. And the only way I'm going to be successful is for me to give up everything that is me, which is my common sense. Do what the preacher says so that I could be successful. Don't worry about a good business plan. Don't worry about the fact that my business failed because I don't have a good business plan.
That's right. That's right.
Right? So by the time you graduate from high school, maybe you go into university and you come out, or at least you get out of high school, now you're able to make some money. You are now primed to be separated from your money.
Your money, that's right.
Because you are now somebody who can earn money. Whether you earn a lot or you don't earn enough, it doesn't really matter. You can earn money now. You have been primed from the time you were a child by your mother. That's why mothers are very important in this equation. It starts with them.
Pay attention.
It starts with them. You're the one that tells them, Jesus loved me, and let you flying around like a fairy.
Yeah.
Right? So by the time you get out, you're primed to be took, to be hoodwinked, to be bamboozled. So you got a generation of Africans, millions and millions of Africans. There are 1.2 billion Africans. just on the continent. It doesn't include the Africans outside of it. Doesn't include the African Americans, about 40, 42 million of them, or the black Africans in the Indies, Haiti, and all that, you know, Brazil and everywhere else, or in Europe. It doesn't include that. And at least 800 million of them are Christians. That's a lot of money.
That's right.
And the preacher on Sunday just goes about saying to himself, I got 800 million coppers that I could get my hands on. Yes. It's enough for a whole lot of preachers. So you go to Nigeria, for example, I know I'm being a little long-winded. You go to this house, it's called Hellstone Fire Church of God. Then there's a residential home. Then the next house next to it is Fire Hellstone of Jerusalem Church. Then there's a residential building. Then the next one is Brimstone and Hellfire Church of Christ. Then there's a house. Then next to it is House Church of Fire of Jesus. Then next to it, blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm just talking about the, how do you call it? The Protestant religions. I'm not even talking about the Anglican churches, the Catholic churches. So you got a whole lot of people looking at the 800 million idiots that they could get their hands on and get their money and separate them from everything. Truth is always the first casualty.
Yes.
Right? Truth is always the first casualty. So thank God for what we are doing right now for our forum, in the hopes that maybe without any prejudices, without holding back, without shrinking from the truth, to let our folks know that we're stupid. Just stupid. It is our stupidity that is enriching these preachers.
Thank you so much. You know, excellent to give your charge. You know, I just want to say, remind everybody here about Chiism. Every Sunday, we come here. The only thing that we've all ever asked any one of you to donate to is for the building of our collective of Obiobase. We're not asking for anything. It is not about us getting rich. This is not what this is about. It's about us getting collectively wealthy, starting with the mind.
Yes.
And building a place for us to come together. In African spirituality, in Chiism, the focus is onye agala nwanne. Onye agala nwanne. That is one of our most important spiritual dictates. Onye agala nwanne. Don't leave your brother or sister behind. Your focus is not about you. It's about akum dirubani. My wealth lies in my community. If my people are wealthy, I am wealthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're wealthy, I shouldn't be hungry. I should be able to knock on your door and say, I haven't fed my children. If I have it, I may not have it. But if I have it, then I give. In our spirituality, I'm the president of the African Women Mobilization Commission as well. But our focus has not been how do we make money for us. We've raised funds just to give away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to give to those who need help. Akum dirobani. I cannot sit at a table eating all this food, experiencing any level of wealth, when the person outside is hungry, has nowhere to stay, has no food to eat, has children, can't feed their children, and yet I want to say I'm wealth. No, if I have wealth and I get money from poor people, then I'm not rich.
No.
I'm greedy.
Yes.
I'm a spiritually deadbeat.
Morally bankrupt.
I was in a hotel in Nigeria. This is the spirit of Chiism. If you don't have that spirit, then please don't call yourself a Chiist. I walked up to the store. I had $5 on me recently. Now, that's not what I have in my bank, but I'm saying that's the cash I had. I just wanted to go to a dollar store and pick up one little plant one little flower that I wanted to use. And that's where you can get it for next to nothing. But I did not intend to spend any money. I didn't intend to use my card. I just wanted to use the cash I had on hand. And there were two little boys. They said they were raising money for a field trip. They wanted to go to Disney World. So they were raising money. I said, I don't have much cash on me, but I'll give you what I have. I gave them the low $5 I had. But let me tell you, I didn't intend to use my card, but it felt good to, when I went into the store and used my card, that was okay. But I certainly felt so good that I gave those kids felt so good. That was my joy. As a chaist, your joy is the joy of others. Giving to others is what should give you joy. Your wealth is not how many jets you can amass, how many cars you can amass, how big your home. You see, when you do good things come back to you. They do. The richest people give away their money. And then sometimes they don't know what to do with all the money that comes to them. I'm going to ask you, Dr. Simona, to comment on the video that you saw. Add your thoughts to what we just started. And thank you, Dibia Ochoaja, for your input.
I feel that it just, again, shows how we're still enslaved in our mind as a people.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, and you have to really think deep and look at what is going on. We're talking about Christianity, which was given to us during slavery. I know here in colonization. And that was given to us for our demise initially. And if you're a Christian, I'm not saying to your demise, that's just the facts. That's the facts. When you read your history, why was Christianity given to African people? To control them. And through the church. And it's unfortunate that, and it was set up this way. I can't say, blame the pastors or whatever. It was set up this way originally. Is that you would have a leader that is meeting the initiative of the person that is over you. And so it's still going on, because where are we struggling as Africans right now worldwide? Economically. We do not have any industries that you can say Black people do this or Africans do this. We have no resource to go to of our own. We have the only thing that we do have is mom and pop businesses that are a lot of times not sustainable, meaning you can pass this on generation to generation and it will continue to create wealth on its own for most of us. And we are looking where we have a lottery type of concept to making money. I'll give this and Chineke will give back to me. Even though if you're a Christian, it says in the Bible, faith without works is dead.
Thank you. Yeah.
In order to gain, you have to get out there and do it. Yes, you have faith. You pray to Chineke. Or if you say you're praying to Jesus. And really, it doesn't matter what lingo you're using, because it's the God inside of you. Chineke lives inside of all of us.
That's right.
And so that's what we have to connect to. And one thing that the church does not teach, and it's right in their word, if you simply, most of these thousands of people that are following these pastors, if you simply go into your own doctrine, your own doctrine will tell you that God lives inside of you. You just haven't read it. And they're not going to show that to you because that will take away from what the manipulation that they're doing to take your money. Because why would you need a pastor to follow? Why would you need a church if the church is inside of you? If God is, Chineke is inside of you. So the thing is, our minds are still enslaved. We give more, Black Africans give more money to the church than any other.
Oh my God, yes.
True.
Where it came from. You know,
True.
we need to get, for one, we need to learn the history of what we're believing.
That's right.
And another thing, you have to learn, if you go into a white community, go into any white community, how many churches do you see? You may see 1 or 2 churches here or there, but go to like Detroit. It's a church, you know, on one block, there may be 10 churches. Church, liquor store, church, liquor store, church, liquor store. So our money, you see where our money is going. And then the church is not saying, okay, since all of this money is coming into us, why don't we empower and help our community?
Yeah.
Why don't we create some type of industry? Why don't we get together with our talents and create wealth in our communities? That is not talked about because a lot of the churches are fighting against each other. Because they're trying to do like that gentleman, that pastor, and be able to get to the point where they have a jet. The community is paying for their lifestyle, their jet, and making them rich. And see, the thing is, this is an attack against the African people. Because the thing is, you have to understand, if you are not strong economically as a group, you are very weak.
Yes.
What would we do if other groups say, we're not going to hire you, we're not going to allow you to patronize, you know, to utilize our stores? We don't have anything pretty much to sustain ourselves. So what do? The people that are rich, that are Africans, they're not coming back to the community and saying, let's build the community either. And so we have to understand, it's our mindset. We have to renew our mind. And that is why we are here. I thank Chineke. I thank the ancestors that we are bringing forth this information. Because what we have to do is get back to Chineke. We have to get back, because when you are in true connection, and I learned this on my spiritual journey, when you're in true connection with Chineke, you see Chineke everywhere you go. Chineke will be present anywhere, through people, through animals, through nature. You will see it. You will be guided. You will be connected to your intuition. You will know the right thing to do for yourself. We've been totally disconnected from our innate ability of logic. You know, we've thrown logic out the window because we wouldn't be giving our last dime to the church with no return. A lot of these churches, you can't even go and ask them. You may have given your last dime and you can't pay your gas and electric bill, and your lights are off, and they say, I can't help you.
That's you're
at last.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Wonderful.
That's good point.
Just to pick up on what you just said about they will not help you. I said it. I think I've shared this story over and over, but it's very relevant. How we went to this I was in Nigeria in a hotel, and this pregnant woman and her husband came to me to beg for transportation to go back to Lagos. And I said, well, there's St. Fimbus. It's maybe half a mile down the road. And no, I did ask, what church do you go to?
Yes.
He said St. Fimbus. I said, well, St. Fimbus is just a half a mile. down the road. Why don't you go over there? You know, you give them your money, you give them your support. You're there every Sunday, and you want to go to Lagos because your pregnant wife has a special need and needs to go to a hospital in Lagos. So why don't you go and ask them for help with transportation and all that? Why are you coming to me? And she says, well, madam, we've been there and they say they can't help us. How much is your transportation that they can't help you? At that time, to get to Lagos was just 10,000 naira. Yudi, what's 10,000 naira?
I mean, 10,000 naira today.
$3.
I don't know. It's about 500, almost 600 naira to $1.
Okay.
Now,
it's less than $10.
But it's still less than $10.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sorry, it's less than $10.
Yeah.
That's all it would cost them. Less than $10. Pardon my error. Less than $10 to get to Lagos. But this is now, Yudi.
Yeah, back then, yeah.
They couldn't give them that kind of money. She comes to me. You just said something earlier, and I tell you very honestly, people get offended when you say certain things. But there's a level of stupidity that we have got to get out of.
I mean,
how can you keep going to a place that does not give you support? Nandi made the statement that they don't teach financial literacy in churches. He says, this is what he says: I'm yet to see a Christian church set aside one day to preach about financial literacy. They're not, to be fair, there are some that do that. But there are many of them that don't want you to know anything about being literate, financially literate, so that you will continue to come here to pray for riches. Because if you can do it yourself, you have no need to come to the church to pray for riches. So it's better that you have no knowledge about literacy so that you keep coming and praying for God to make manna to rain from heaven for you. Yes, Dr. Mona.
Now, what I noticed is because they have this, it's a man, his name is Dave Ramsey, and he teaches financial literacy, and he's a Christian, but he encourages people to still pay their tithes and pay money to the church. So they accept that. But if you're teaching financial literacy, because what they're telling you in church is not, it goes against financial literacy.
That's right. It's totally different.
So they will only accept that if there is someone saying, also pay your tithes. But the teaching totally goes against what the church is teaching. That's why they don't want true financial literacy there.
Yeah.
Here's what I know. Here's what I know just about this financial literacy.
Yuji, just one more thing. Just one more thing. Just want to piggyback on what she has said about financial. When I went to that church, Dr. Monet, they said, no, don't bring that stuff here. I'm not kidding you.
I believe it.
Financial literacy, they said, don't bring that stuff here. Why do they need that? What? Yuji, go ahead.
Yeah, let me see. Here's one thing, everybody. I think our audience may have realized or noticed about me. I don't mince words, and I'm not trying to be nice about anything I'm saying. Somebody told me, well, why are you always so unfiltered? You're very raw when you talk about stuff. Don't you care about how the people feel when you're talking to them? I said, when they put a noose around your neck and were hanging you, enslaved you, were they being nice about it?
No.
Did anybody walk into or sail to Africa and say, excuse me, Africans, would you like to be enslaved? I mean, if you like to be enslaved, it's cool. If you don't like to be enslaved, it's all right. It's all good.
Yeah.
When they were jacking you up, and I'm using the word jacking you up, how nice was they? Now you want me to tell the truth nicely? No. I'm going to tell it to you just the way they bamboozled you, whether you like it or not. And if I hurt your feelings, well, too bad. It's about the truth. It's about opening eyes. It's about love for our community. It's about concern for our community. Those people that go to church for financial, to teach financial literacy, understand that 99.9999% of the person teaching the financial literacy is a member of that church. It's a member of that church.
It is.
And when they teach you financial literacy, yes, they want you to be successful, like Dr. Simone said, so that you could pay tithes into that church.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing it selflessly. Mm-mm. They're not doing it so that you could take your, like LeBron James said, I'm taking my talent to South Beach.
Right.
I'm leaving the Cleveland Cavaliers and I'm going to the Miami, Heat to go play basketball. They're not telling you financial literacy so you could go out there, conquer the world, and do what you want to do. They are very careful in offering these financial literacy classes or any other class on any subject, as long as it benefits that particular church. Mm-hmm. Not just Christianity in general, that particular congregation.
Yes.
I've been to those financial literacy classes in church before.
Yeah.
I see how they operate. I know exactly why they do it. Those people are members. And as a matter of fact, if you're not a member of that church, for you to be able to get up there and teach a financial literacy class in the hopes of getting clients from the congregation, you must first make a donation to that church.
Yes.
There are no freebies. They're not letting you come in there to educate anybody unless they're benefiting from it. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. Now, secondly, pick it back on Dr. Simone's point. Faith without works is dead. Mm-hmm. And that's what they don't teach us. Mm-hmm. They don't teach you that you have to have a sound business plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
For you to start a business. And then hopefully, if you stick to your plan, yes, and you spend the level of effort that is required to put your business plan into action, that you just might end up being successful. Nobody's telling you that. They're telling you that you have no control over your situation. You have no say in your destiny. Akaraka does not exist. There's no Ikenga in your existence.
Yes.
You must depend on God for everything. Well, I got news for you. Let me tell you how God works. And I'm going to use two examples. And if you don't like it, that's too bad. And I will challenge Chineke on what I said, because Chineke is in me. And if you think I'm playing, here's a challenge for you. Cut somebody's head off. And then tell me God is so strong that God will do the impossible. God does not do the impossible. Cut somebody else's head off and then put it back on the body. And let's see if that person comes back to life. You understand where I'm going with this? Mm-hmm. Power of God does not include stupidity, which we got plenty of our black folks. Those people in church believe that if you cut somebody's head off, and you speak in tongues and put the head back on the body, that person will get up and walk away. Mm-hmm. They believe that if you are up there 20,000 feet and you jump off a plane without a parachute onto concrete, that God will save you. God was trying to save you when God told you, you better put on parachute before you jump.
Hell.
But you refused to put on that parachute to jump.
Yes.
And he just jumped off the plane and said, God is with me. I'm speaking in tongues. I'm not going to bust my head. Excuse me? How stupid are you? You are stupid as those people in church listening to Mr. Preacher with a two-tone jacket or whatever the heck he got on, telling them that he was speaking in tongues and money was being printed. Money is the backbone of the con. They need that money to con you. Mr. Preacher wants to come in there looking all good, making you look at your husband. For you ladies out there, why can't you be like Mr. Preacher? You watch your wife, 8 months pregnant, complains that she's got pain in her stomach. You take her to church, and Mr. Preacher in his fancy clothes is stomping on her stomach, telling her that it's the devil that is causing her pain. And it didn't occur to you somewhere in your brain that when a woman is 8 months pregnant, she has some discomfort.
Yes.
And you allow that to happen. That's how stupid you are as a black person. We're stupid. I don't want to use the word we've been hoodwinked. I don't want. You know what? We are just stupid. We need to come back to ourselves. Think about this. Before I get off, think about this. The greatest money generator in the black community is the church.
It is.
And none of that money goes back into doing anything for black folks. Now imagine if we found ourselves, if we found our rightful place in the universe, if we have the power to gather one day of the week or every Sunday and put the same amount of money that we put in the churches for our own good, imagine how powerful we will be.
Yes.
We are stupid. And I'm going to keep saying it. And if you didn't understand what I said right now, then you're really an idiot. You're stupid. We are stupid. Stupid, 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 stupid. I think about all the money that we put in. We suffer all week long. We have black African organizations or black organizations that want to do for our people, that ask you for your donations, that ask you to help to build something for black folks. You refuse to do it. But every Sunday you go to church and you pay tithes to the preacher who ends up with 3 private jet planes. Are you stupid or what? Don't you understand that collective power you have on Sunday, if you just focused it inward and did something that will benefit black folks, imagine how powerful we will be. Christianity doesn't want you to have that power. Islam doesn't want you to have that power. Judaism doesn't want you to have that power. Abrahamic religions do not want the black man and woman to have that power, because if we have that power away from the churches and the mosques, we will be able to chart our own course, direct our future, build for our children, create a generation of very powerful people who will chart a productive life for people African communities all over the world. We got to look inside. The power is here. Yep. It lies within us, outside the churches and mosques on Sundays.
And thank you so much. And one of the things that is so critical for all of us who are sitting here, we can talk about what the pastors are doing and what is going on out there. We have to ask ourselves, what are we doing in our own homes? What are we doing? How are we preparing the future? How are we preparing the future? All right. The children need us to be sensible. When UD uses the expression stupid, it is not to put down black people necessarily. No. If you pay attention, what he's saying is our actions, what we're doing is what's stupid. You can't expect you cannot become a great human being when you are acting as an individual who has no sense. And the worst part of it is that their children are watching us. People are people looking to us to lead the way. And when we're not doing that, it becomes a vicious cycle. We're easily fooled. I just want to tell you this little story of the old woman. Nobody knew he was very wealthy. She'll come to church consistently and never failed. She'll come to church. She looked frail, and she'll put her little money, and when they bring the basket, she'll put some money in there. Nobody knew that she was sick, and quite frankly, she was getting ready to pass on. But during the time she was sick, nobody ever came to her. Nobody came to see her. She was sick alone. The only person who ever came to see her was another elderly woman, and the woman passed away. The pastor that she gives money every Sunday never came to see her. He knew she was sick. Never came. No church members came to see her, just that one woman who passed away. Well, finally, she went to church and told them that she was about to pass away. And the pastor, prayed for her and everything. She went home. Nobody ever came. So she sent a note to the pastor and she told the pastor that unbeknownst to them, that she's a woman of means, and she just wanted them to be aware of that. The pastor showed up to her house and left her a note. When you pass on, don't forget to leave money for the church. Put something in your will for the church. And went away. As she got sicker and sicker, she looked at that note. She didn't say anything. As she got sicker and sicker, nobody came. Still nobody came. Pastor sent his subordinate now and then to go see her, but never took the time to come see her, except for the first time when he left that note. Well, the woman died, and they had to read her will. When they read the will, the pastor showed up for the reading of the will.
Of course.
Because he was positive. I mean, she was a church person. And so he's there comfortably expecting that, something was left. So the attorney let them know that the woman was worth $26 million. Mm-hmm. When she said that, the pastor sat up. Woo! Expecting. Wow. That means, and no telling what we're going to get.
Right.
So she started giving away the money. She gave the money to this school, to this, that, and just started letting everybody know where her money was going. And then the lawyer said, and for my church, the pastor sat up. She said, I leave a quarter. The pastor told the attorney, you check it again. You must be mistaken. He said, I left you a quarter for your basket. I'm not going to be here to put it in the basket. All you deserve is this quarter. But she lectured them why she didn't leave. She said, if you had even come to see me when I was ill, if this church had come to see me when I was ill, I frankly would have left everything to you. But you only knew me when you found out that I had money. Now you know that I have money. You're expecting me to give you money. Well, there's a quarter for you. I don't know what you're going to do with that, but at least I left you with something. I say this to say, when you focus not on the mission of your church, ultimately you will pay the price. You may not see it immediately. But those people that you disrespect as you look for wealth, they will pay you back one way or the other. This old woman did. These pastors that are riding their jets and doing all of that stuff, sooner or later, they will pay the price. Because if they believe there's a heaven, I would like to be a fly on the wall to see when they get there. If Angel Gabriel will let them through the gates. If the stories that they tell their congregation will manifest into reality for them. See, you can lie to your congregation one time. When you tell a lie the first time to your congregation, it may be an accident. You didn't know. It was an accident. I did it by accident. Then you tell them a second lie, it may be a mistake. So I made a mistake. I apologize, I made a mistake. But if you do the same thing the third time, it becomes intentional. You did it on purpose. You're a crook. You're a thief. That's why you keep doing it. And then those people you're doing to, because you just said, you're stupid. Your stupidity is not as a result of your race. Your stupidity is because you don't want to know the truth. You've been bamboozled and you stay there. See, you can stay in the valley or you can come out of the valley. But if you stay in the valley, people take advantage of you. These pastors take advantage of all these people in the valley. And the point of the sad thing is a lot of people who go to church every day, who refuse to learn how to make money for themselves, is because they're lazy. They go there to expect manna. If I just pray hard enough, the pastor wants you to come there and pray. Pray harder. Pray in the morning, pray in the afternoon, pray at night, pray at midnight, start again in the morning. Keep praying. And every time you come to pray, you put a little money in his basket. He gets rich. You stay poor. You haven't learned anything about what you need to do to better yourself, except how to pray and beg. How to beg. You're teaching our people not to become financial literate, but how to become beggars. How to pray and pray and pray, and then they get, they get all into it, and then, then they stomp and they dance and all that kind of stuff. I really wonder, Eugene, what God is thinking when Chineke is thinking when those people are doing all that.
It's if I had the it's unfortunate that being on charge brings me close to God, but it only brings me close to God within me.
Yeah, that's right.
You understand? I don't see God outside of me.
Yeah.
What I see outside of me are manifestations of Chineke's creative genius.
Yes,
that's what I see. But when I try to figure out what Chineke is thinking, I don't look any further than myself. Mona Chiiso, I walk with the Almighty Chineke.
Yes.
The Chineke that I see is in me.
Yes.
Is in you, the audience, the folks out there. So if you want to figure out what God is thinking, look no further than within. Now, one thing I love about this show and Chiism is that we have a quality called Nkomi, deep thinking. We think outside the box. We go real deep. We get into it. We go places no man has been before. This is Star Trek, for crying out loud.
Yes.
We do things like nobody else does. I will tell you the truth. We stand on our truth. In Igbo, we say, "Eziokwu bụ ndụ." Truth is life.
Truth is life.
So let me give you all a little bit of something that most people don't think about unless you're versed in Chiism. And I think those in Chiism, we've kind of gotten there a little bit, but life is a journey and you keep learning. I want to talk about separation of church and state for a second. There are two ways to control human behavior. One is civic laws. One is spiritual laws. Churches are tax exempt, not because it has anything to do with the fact that they're closer to Chineke, but because they're another avenue to control human behavior beyond civic law. All human systems are products of religion. Your economic system, your civic systems, your social system, your cultural systems, your economic systems, all human systems are products of religion. And the first attempt to control human behavior was through religious or spiritual tenets. Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not this and thou shalt not that. Those are first spiritual laws because all human systems are products of religion. These religious tenets found themselves into civic laws, which is the second tier of human behavior control. So we went from thou shalt not lie to perjury in the court system. We went from thou shalt not kill or you go to hell to life in jail, 25 years in jail or the death sentence. Thou shalt not bear false witness, you go into that perjury. Thou shalt not steal, that's 10 years in jail. In the spiritual sphere, as far as Christianity is concerned, at least, that gives you maybe you end up in servitude in hell for all eternity. And these spiritual laws are the same across the board. Thou shalt not lie is not a Christian thing. It's not an Abrahamic thing. There's no culture in the world that says it's okay to lie. There's no culture that says it's okay to kill. There's no culture that says it's okay to steal. There's no culture that says it's okay to convert your neighbor's wife and all that stuff. It's not a Christian thing. Every culture practices that. But these things all go from spiritual laws to civic laws. But they're all exceptions. If my personal security is threatened, or the personal security of my family is threatened, and somebody is trying to kill me or kill a member of the family, and the only way for me to extricate myself from the situation is to kill that person, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to break the law of thou shalt not kill.
Yes.
It's not an absolute law. There are exceptions to everything that you see in the so-called 10 Commandments. It is not absolute. That's deep thinking. That's Nkomi. You have to think about life for what it is. You have to be that Chineke that you're seeking. If you think that I find myself in a situation in war and the enemy comes and takes everything that I own, and the only way for me to survive is to go back behind enemy lines and get something that doesn't belong to me, that belongs to them, do you think I'm going to sit around and die? I'm going to go over there and steal that stuff. There are exceptions, but you have to understand that to put these laws in perspective, and then you could be able to be spiritual enough to implement these laws into your own life and live out your life as a very spiritual person, because you understand it. Most people don't understand. They take it at face value. And so we go out there doing all kinds of nilly-willy stuff and then acting like we know what's going on when we don't. Religion helps the, Napoleon says that religion keeps the poor from killing the rich. Religion is there to control the behavior of the poor folks, not the rich people.
Yes.
Do you think that Elon Musk cares about the church? He's the richest man in the world. He can buy just about anything. He's not afraid. Ask him how he got his money. He's not going to tell you, well, I had faith in God. No. He's going to tell you, I worked hard. I founded this company. I had faith, but I put in the work. That's why I'm rich.
Mm-hmm.
You ask Dangote, the richest black man in the world in Nigeria. He wasn't sitting over there hoping that Muhammad helps him build an empire. He put in the work. He's a Muslim. He's got faith. But he believes that, Muhammad just ain't going to do it for me. I got to do something for myself.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Gates came up with Microsoft. He may be a spiritual and religious person and believes in God, but if he didn't write those programs, God was not going to be writing it for him. The God that he had faith in lives in him. He was able to write those programs, create Microsoft, and now he's the second or third richest man in the world. Jeff Bezos founded Amazon, not because he had faith in God. He had faith in himself, and his business plan, as far as he was concerned, was the Chineke he was looking for was in him, so he put his vision forth. He's the second richest man in the world. Every successful person put in the work. They didn't depend on some lightning bolt from the skies to put them in the position of excess that they find themselves in. Oprah Winfrey just didn't become rich just because she said, God, just make me a billionaire, and bam, lightning bolt from the sky, and here we are. Oprah got all this bank. No, she put in the work, she paid the price, she made friends, she made enemies along the way, but she got there because she had a sound business plan and didn't wait for some kind of magic from the skies to put her in the position that she is in. Ikenga is your destiny. Akaraka is your talent. If you understand yourself, tap into your God-given talent. We all have skills. Every human being has something about themselves that makes them unique. That's your money maker. If what makes you unique is simply hard work, that's your money maker.
That's right.
You don't have to know how to write, how to draw, how to build a car, how to do nothing. If hard work, if all you know how to do is how to take your wheelbarrow, fill it up with sand, go and pour it into a sand heap, but you work hard enough and you could put more sand in the sand heap with your wheelbarrow than anybody else, and you stay with that, you'll become the most successful laborer in the world and can build an empire.
Yes. Yeah.
You understand? So the point I'm making is the church is tax exempt, not because God loves them more, but because they help the government to keep you in control, to control you. There is no separation of church and state. It doesn't exist. All that stuff is fantasy, fallacy. It has never existed in human history. There has never been a time where religion and government didn't mix. It's a fantasy. If it's not Buddhism controlling the direction of the government, because Buddhism helps to keep the population in control, if it is not Sikhism, keeping the population in control, if it is not Judaism, keeping the population in control, if it is not Chiism, keeping the population in control, or Islam or Zoroastrianism, blah, blah, blah. Religion helps control human behavior, and government is in the business of controlling your behavior, but also making your lives a little better. They go hand in hand. That's why churches are tax exempt. Unfortunately, you got more churches than you have indigenous religion. So they have more control. They tap into your resources more. And for Black folks, we go to church more than anybody else. So most of our resources go to the church. But if we find ourselves and we tap into our Chiist history, our spirituality, whether you're Orumila, whether you're Chiist, whatever African traditional religionist you are, Ifa, etc., etc., if you put those same resources into our own primordial core, we will be the most powerful and successful community in the world.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I want to share this with you, and because it's so important that people understand that the churches you attend, sometimes we feel, oh my God, it's happening at that church. It will not happen to my church. Okay, you think that you escape it because maybe you're not seeing it. But fraud does happen in your church. In every church, there's something that's put in place that could or could not catch theft. There are many churches that are very, very vulnerable. You may not know it. There are some churches now, because I don't want to speak in generalities and just accuse every church of being, having a fraud, being fraudulent, or all of that. There are some good churches out there, but there are many, many who are very vulnerable to fraud. Okay, and what happens is that it doesn't happen immediately. Sometimes it takes a long time before it even happens. Sometimes up to 7 years before it becomes a reality. Okay, but it starts initially with small sums of stolen money intermittently. These pastors don't realize that. I don't care what your intentions are, what you say you're using it for. If you're using it for yourself, it's theft.
Yes.
So if you tell your congregation, I'm buying a jet so I can go and I can travel to the gospel. If you're using it for your personal use, because you can get in a car, you can get on a bike, you can walk. You don't need a doggone jet, at least not 3 of them. That's stealing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what happens is some of these pastors, they start very small, little here, little there, so it's not easily detected. But greed sets in, and they start going further and further to test, okay, how much would the congregation stand? And so they get so creative with it that they come right out and tell you what they're going to do or what they've done. And they sit back to watch to see what is your reaction. When you are there clapping that a man used your money to buy 3 jets, what do you expect? Then
you won't fly in them either.
They start thinking, hey, I can do this, and some of these churches, they don't have any internal financial controls, and that necessary to expose or prevent this fraud. So it goes on and on and on, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And now the pastor now tells you, hey, you let me get away with 3 jets? Well, this is what I need. It's my wife's birthday. I need to get her Rolls Royce. Yay! You throw more money. I mean, let me share some cases with you. A church treasurer embezzled $850,000 by distributing funds to himself through a credit line. He had access to 4 officers' digital signatures. It led him to 8 years in prison and the requirement to pay the money back. Think about that. You take all that, is it worth it? You go to jail and you still got to pay it back. But you've already used that money. Where are you going to get the money to pay it back?
I'll have it.
When they get away with it, they just do more and more and more. They don't think about the ramifications. These people start seeing themselves as gods. They can do no wrong. And see, it becomes a tradition. If the pastor is stealing, you better understand that the bookkeeper knows that he's stealing. So the bookkeeper say, how about me? I'll do mine too.
Yeah. One hand washes the other.
That's right. The bookkeeper starts to embezzle little modest amount of money here, $2 here, $10, $1,000, and before you know it, she's just like the pastor. Monkey see, monkey do. And then they had a church usher who collected offerings in the sanctuary balcony and then pocketed loose bills on his way down.
Wow.
Why not? Preachers doing it.
He has stolen thousands of dollars.
Preachers doing it.
And then and then there's a bookkeeper who embezzled thousands of checks, dollars, by issuing checks to a fictitious company because she saw the pastor doing that.
Yes.
It becomes the culture. So these pastors, what they're doing, I guarantee you, if you see a pastor who says, I bought this big thing for myself in the name of the church, you better understand there's a bookkeeper who's aware.
Yeah, of course.
Yes,
he's not doing it alone. It's a gang. It's gang. It's like a gang, man. He's not doing it alone. Listen, the preacher, right, is the don, right? It's like the mafia. You got the don, you got the consigliere, you got the captains, you got the guy, you know, the usher, in charge of the usher, and the guy with the, what do you call these people? The choir, you know, he tells you, and they do the singing and all that stuff. It's a gang. Everybody knows what's going on, right?
And we have to understand. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we just have to understand that this is how the service is set up and everything. It's to reel you in, it's to brainwash you into giving your money. It's a conditional response. Whenever, because if you notice, the order of the structure of the service is they have music, which evokes emotion. And after a person gets very emotional, they are easier to get their emotion. I mean, to give their money. So what happens is they have the music, the preacher comes up, and you'll notice they'll say, everyone shake this person's hand.
Yeah.
Go and hug your neighbor. Go do this. So he's directing.
Break him down.
Up to take that money out of your pocket. And a lot of people don't understand this. This was shown to me in a vision when I came out of Christianity. I learned, about things, and Chineke had taken me out and had showed me what the truth was. And because there's a fear in that, because they tell you go to hell, and if you don't know any better, you've been conditioned. So I saw Chineke show me the conditioning. I actually seen the service and how it works. So the people were, the pastor, you got a choir up there, everyone's dancing, they're singing. The more emotion they evoke, even Tony Robbins do it.
Yes.
They prep you.
Tony Robbins or any of the motivational speakers, they do this. It works.
Yes.
If you can evoke emotion out of a person, they know, this is proven, that you can control the minds of that person.
Yes.
You know what?
They have you dancing and everything.
Dr. Simone, I got to kind of just really lift you up with what you just said. And I'm just going to, because you hit it on the head. And I'll use an example. This is a painful example. A lot of people won't like it, but it is the truth. Because if you're really a student of history and you really want to understand human behavior and why we do the things that we do and why the world is in the condition that it's in, why somebody will walk into a church and shoot people dead, why somebody will go into a classroom and murder children, if you want to understand how we got here, let me use an example for you. During World War II, Hitler was the chancellor of Germany.
Mm-hmm.
You know how he got people to support him? He got a guy named Joseph Goebbels, made him minister of propaganda. When Hitler walks into a place to give a speech, before he gives the speech, at least an hour, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours or whatever, they will rile up the crowd. They will give them a show.
Yes.
They will make them feel like they are waiting the second coming of Christ. By the time Hitler gets there, as a matter of fact, they have been, you could see the camera angles of people marching in circles with the torches and the fire at night. Most of his speeches he gives at night, so that you could see this flame and all this pageantry and everything else. And by the time Hitler gets out to talk, he's standing there for a good 30 minutes while the crowd is going nuts, going crazy. Before he even comes in, there are people that come in and they make their speeches, they rile up the crowd. That's your choir.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy that you bring it into church to give the, the secondary speech before the primary.
Yes.
That's the singer who has a new album that just dropped that you invite to your church to sing. Oh, praise him, praise him. And by the time the preacher gets out there, the whole crowd is nuts. And Germany kept silent, and 6 million Jews were gassed. And they all acted like, we didn't know anything about it. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You attended those rallies.
That's right.
Yes, you did. You heard the speech. Yes, you did. You were there. Yes, you did. You were there on Sunday, giving your money to Mr. Preacher, acting like, well, I didn't know he was going to buy a plane. Yes, you did. You didn't know that he has a Rolls Royce. Yes, you did. He came in there, got you riled up, promised you heaven, then tells you that this is his 20th anniversary. You put in your money in the coffers so that Mr. Preacher can go to the Bahamas and enjoy his anniversary with his wife. You paid for it.
That's right.
Stop acting as if you're ignorant about the bamboozlement that is going on in the church.
That's right.
You are a part of what's happening in the churches today, just like you're a part of the man that walked into the school and shot those kids. Yes. And you knew that if you hit the streets, that you could force your congressman to change the laws so that we stop having automatic weapons in school. You are part of everything that is happening to you, particularly my people.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what?
Hold on just a second. OKDB said to me one time, wherever your behind finds itself, your mind put it there.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
True. That's true.
So this is a message for my people.
That's right.
Wherever we find ourselves in today's world, forget about the slavery and the colonization. We have information now that lets you know that the world is not for you.
That's right.
Wherever we find ourselves, our behind put us there. Rwanda found themselves going down the toilet, murdering 1 million of their civilians. They understood that it was their fault.
That's right.
Rwanda today is the most exemplary nation in the world.
Yes.
I just want to make that point.
It's a point well taken, because we need to take responsibility. You can't just keep talking about what other people are doing when you allow them to do it. At some point, you have to take responsibility. If you leave your door open and you're in a bad neighborhood and somebody comes in there and robs you, you can't make noise. You know your environment. You know you should keep your door locked. But when you invite evil in and then you want to complain about it, then you're to be held accountable. Now, I want us to get, this is something I want us to do from hence, is at some point about half an hour before we end our program, we need to have conversations with our participants on the forum. So because they are writing some very interesting things that I think we should read and discuss. So
Yes.
let me start with Akachi Azubike. She says the pastor in Houston told people he needed a new helicopter blade, 70,000 K. Wow. So 70K. And the people needed to pay. This black church is full of parishioners that have money too. They feel like their church is better than another because their pastor travels by helicopter to multiple services each Sunday and has a motorcade. They have bowling alley and movie theater in church. It's a gang. My church, my pastor, brag, 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 etc. What are your thoughts about that?
I said it before. Actually, the guy's name is Dr. Evans in Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
He said the church is a business.
It's a business.
You need money to evangelize.
Yes.
You need the show. You need the mesmerizing of people with the bowling alley, with the helicopter, with the big edifice. My church is bigger than your church.
Yes.
You need that to attract more people to your church so that you could get your hands on their money. And you've made people feel like they're more spiritually cleansed if they belong to a church that is richer than the other church. The other church is not as successful as this church because the other church doesn't have people that have enough clout, or maybe they're doing something that is not as blessed as this other church is doing. That's why they're poor.
That's right.
But you forget the fact that this church is successful because you're more stupid probably than the other people.
Yes.
You're giving up more of your resources to this pastor, and you are sold on the idea that the bigger the edifice, if the pastor has 3 jet planes, helicopters, and all that, then that your salvation lies in the success of this church on earth and the pastor. It makes you look good. So you can now brag to your friends in the hood. Which church do you go to? Oh, I'm going to, I belong to this beautiful church. What's that black preacher in Dallas, Texas that everybody knows? T.D. Jakes. Oh, where do you go? Oh, I go to T.D. Jakes' church. That's all this is. It's a business.
Yes.
Get as many stupid idiots into this particular building every Sunday. Get them all. Do whatever it is. Mesmerize them. Give them the show, the helicopter, the plane. Give it all to them, because these fools think that their salvation lie in the success of the church that they belong to.
Very good. Yeah. This next one, I'll have you address, Dr. Simone. Remember, you get about no more than 2 minutes to address it, because I have so many that's written, and I want everybody to get a chance. This is from Namdi Osimiri. It says, having equity in the kingdom of God is not good for the owners of these is good for the owners of these having equity in the kingdom of God is not good for the owners of these mega churches. Ignorance and poverty is the church's main clientele, and the rich are its main investors. Your thoughts?
Yes, I do agree with that, because what the church sells, you got to understand that they are selling you something. It's not about God. It's not about Chineke. It's not about that. It's about what they are selling you, and what they are selling many of our people is hope.
Yes. And
hope, and it's because, a lot of things have been taken from us as African people. A lot of opportunities have, because of our history and slavery and segregation, and a lot of things had been destroyed. A lot of things that we built up were destroyed. They take advantage. The churches, a lot of these churches are there to take advantage of the fact that we do not have, that we are in poverty, that we do not have in America. We have nothing else spiritually. We know of nothing else spiritually. That is why Chiism Live, this is so important, because a lot of Americans do not know of anything outside of the church, and they're very, very vulnerable of being taken advantage of.
That's right.
And so the thing is, they fully take advantage of that. They take your power is totally taken, because if you know that Chineke lives inside of you, you know that you don't need that sister. You don't need to follow someone else, because Chineke is going to lead you.
That's
Any
right.
spiritual leader that is not empowering you to develop yourself spiritually on your innate spiritual thumbprint. What I tell people, everyone has a spiritual thumbprint, you know, and so the way that we connect with Chineke is different and unique to who we are. So if a person is not telling you that, and they're just they're asking for your money, they're putting all of these lights, like you go into the casino up there, you know, we have a bowling alley, we have this, we have a good choir. Most churches, you know, they want that spiritual leader is so important, because they know that is what's going to keep people in the church. But do not be disillusioned, because a lot of these pastors, I know from my mother-in-law.
Okay, you got one. You got one.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay,
finish your thoughts, but
I know from my mother-in-law that pastors came to her and they stole a lot of things that she did and put it into the church and pretend as if, and would not let people know that this is spirituality. And because they knew that what she had was power, because it's from the original. That is what we're from. That dancing and singing in the church comes from Africa originally. It's inside of us. But then they will say our traditions are evil, but you're doing our traditions in the church. They're doing them.
Yes.
And saying that it's Christianity, writing it off as Christianity, and spirituality still being evil.
That's right.
So they're making money. Like, this is, you know, it's not taking us back, giving us having our traditions, us knowing the God of our ancestors.
Okay, we have to go to the next one. We have to go to the next one.
Great point, though.
Great point. But you guys keep it short, because there's so many. We got so much time, so that we can touch other people's points. Now, you discuss with Ukuna Charles very briefly. Ukuna says that prosperity that they claim they preach, but how many people are prosperous? They milk our people. How many people are actually prosperous around those churches? You want to talk to him about that?
Well, you know, when you talk about prosperity religion, all it's saying, all that really is prosperity religion, definition of it is tithes. Yeah. If you pay enough tithes into the church, you will be blessed. Yes. That's what prosperity religion is about. It focuses on separating you from your money. It's about your coffers. It doesn't tell you that being prosperous, if you're in business, requires a business plan. Yes. Prosperity religion doesn't tell you that you have to conduct your life a certain way for you to become successful. Prosperity religion does not have financial literacy classes to allow you to build up the intellectual equity that you need to be successful. Yes. Prosperity religion is telling the congregation or your converts or your adherents that the only way for them to be prosperous is for them to put money in the church. That's right. It doesn't identify why they are poor. It doesn't put the responsibility on anybody else for their condition. It doesn't tell you that the reason why you're a refugee with no home living in the desert is because some other country or some other tribe invaded you, and that's why you're poor. But once you found a church that gave you something to eat, got you on your feet, where you're now making money, to allow you to be able to put money in their coffers, or use you, if you don't have money, to convince somebody else to put money in their coffers.
Yes.
You become a tool for the church.
That's right.
They just milk people. They do nothing for you.
Yeah.
Your power lies within you. The Chineke you seek is in you. If you want to be successful, tap into your Ikenga, which will lead you to the hallmarks of your destiny.
But you know what? We're not saying, look, you certainly can give money to the church. There's nothing that says you can't do that. It's fair game. You give money, but don't allow your money to be sucked out of you.
Yes.
You see, give as much as you can and don't feel bad. Don't feel like you have to give all of this stuff, more than you can handle. Akachi Azubike also here says, prosperity gospel is a farce based on Eurocentric capitalism, materialism. Oh my goodness. And consumption. It equates blessed with excess and cursed with poverty. You're poor because you are not a good Christian, etc.
Yeah.
Which is nonsense. And in African spirituality, I just want to say this very quickly. I think I said it before. In my village, the rich will put food, or the rich farmer will put food by the roadside. He will hang it by the roadside so that anybody who's poor can go by and take whatever they need. You don't have to ask for permission. The farmer doesn't need to see you, because it is our spirituality that you give to others so that you can receive. Prosperity is not in what you have. Prosperity is, yes, you have some, but give a lot away. Give to those who have the least. That is our spirituality. It's not based on Eurocentrism. It's not based on capitalism, materialism. It doesn't and consumption. No, it's about doing for others.
I just want to make one point, right?
Akom dero pani.
True. For the people out there, just for one second.
Can I finish my thought?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you stopped.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh, sorry.
So poverty. The poverty that someone may have is my curse if I'm able to do something about it. Not their curse, because a lot of people who are poor, they're poor not because they can help it, but because circumstances for them does not allow them to be enriched, as I may be. So, in our spirituality, akum derobani, and I want all of us to know how to say that, akum derobani. If you have something and you see a poor person, say to yourself, akum derobani, my wealth lies outside of me. Because what I give to others comes back. That is our spiritual way of thinking. UD, go ahead and come.
Yeah, just something real briefly. I want people out here to also understand one thing. No church is happy when a congregant comes in, or a member, or whatever, and then decides that they want to, from their own volition, give money to an organization that wants to feed the hungry or poor people. They will tell you, no, you put it in the church here. We decide what happens to that money. But you don't have any right as a member of this church to decide to go and feed the homeless without involving this church. Because for them, it's not about feeding the homeless. It's about doing it through this particular church so that those people that they are feeding will now look up to them as their point of salvation. It's about, a famous man once says, Christianity is in the traffic, is in the business of the traffic of the souls of men. It's like drug trafficking. Your soul is a drug that is being trafficked. It is in the business of the traffic in the souls or of the souls of people.
Yes.
That's the drug they want, your mind. And anything that threatens access to your mind is like the crackhead who is looking for crack and there is no crack and he's over there scratching himself. Come on, I'll steal a car for you. I'll do whatever you want. Just give me some crack. Your soul is the crack of the church. They got to have it. And if you decide to be a good Christian to your fellow human being outside the particular congregation or outside the church, it is not part of their business model and they will not have it. That's right. The truth.
That's right. Now, Akimi bro, pastors don't want the people to start questioning so they can make more money at the expense of people's time. Yes, they don't want you to question, but I want to say, just answer this young man. The way our spiritualists work, okay, it's not really based on crowds. It's not based on the number of people that are in the room, you know, to yell and scream and shout. What is important to our spiritualists, okay, is how that individual person is feeling. Even right now, we have some members, for those who are actual members of Chiism, we consult with them individually. It's not a matter of the crowd. I mean, we have the Chiism Live, but they're individuals that we consult with individually for their own personal growth, because we all have different needs. Yes. So to log everybody together and say, okay, all of you have to, you know, we actually take the time to get individuals and let them ask questions. Let's see let's hear what they are thinking. What do they need? If you go to the village and you find one of our pastors, they take a young man or a young woman and they go to the river, they walk to the river as an individual and sit with that person and let that person pour their heart out. What are their needs? What do they want to learn about life? And all that kind of stuff. Those are sages that will actually sit with individuals and tell them what they need to know, and also welcome their questions. But these pastors, when you have these big churches, they're not interested in what you have to say individually.
Nope.
They don't want you to ask those questions. Yes. This is what I said. This is what the Lord said. This is what the Bible says. Blah, 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 and that's it. Don't ask questions. But sometimes you come out of there feeling empty, because some of your questions were never answered, and you don't have the right to answer that. One more thing, and three of us can answer this one. I'm trying to see who else left a message, but this one is very important. That came from Akachi again, and she talks about the fact that there are some church leaders that you can't have access to them. Yes. You cannot get to. I'm trying to find it.
Absolutely.
Who said it here? She said you can't have access to the pastors of some of these mega churches unless you're at a certain level of tithing. You have to see another minister because the pastor is exclusive to the wealthy parishioners. Dr. Monet, then you.
Yes. You know, that's absolutely true, because it's about who can bring the money into the church. It's not about Chineke. For many of them, it's about who can create wealth for them, because a lot of people are in this, you know, to create wealth for themselves. And so you're going to put priority on the people who have more money, because the people with more money will have to pay more tithes, because 10%, you'll say 10% of 20,000 a year. That's not like 10% of $1 million a year. So they're making sure that that money does not leave the church. The major money does not leave the church, and that they can keep this narrative going instead of saying, you know, let's help our community. Let's take this money and really help our community. We talk about reparations. You know, we have reparations in the church. The money is in the church, billions of dollars that African people are giving to the church. If we divided that amongst each other, that would be our reparations, not just in America, but throughout everywhere that we experienced. The things that we experience as African people, we can, create wealth within ourselves, but where is it going? It's going to one person. It's going to that leader of that church, instead of going to the community and empowering the community and creating, building up the community.
That's right.
But,
that's right.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The church is a business. And based on what Akachi says, it's no different from a pyramid scheme.
Yes.
It's a pyramid scheme. And the pyramid is, how deep is your pocket?
Yes.
For you to be able to rise to the level in this pyramid scheme where you have access to the preacher. And then the second question will be, when you have access to this preacher, what exactly is this access to the preacher doing for you? What do you benefit from having access to this preacher that the guy at the bottom of the totem pole doesn't have? For you is the clout. The preacher is not responsible for the money in your coffers. You made your money. There's something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Right? The first is what? Physiological. That's where most people are. Then you have the need for what do you call it? Love, belongingness, socializing, part of the belongingness, and ultimately you have your self-actualization. Most people are at the bottom. A lot of the people that deal with the pastor who has actualized himself by creating a pyramid scheme that gives them access to levels of bank accounts of the congregation.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a pyramid scheme. That's what it is. It's a business. It's not about God. Christianity is about the doctrine itself, and the doctrine involves money and power. And at the helm of it all is the idea that the only way that you can receive salvation is for you to bend your knees to a particular character.
Yes.
As opposed to God, which is the common denominator in most religions. See, when you talk about God, you're putting all religions on the same level. When you're talking about their hero, it's a different thing altogether. And the hero says that only through me will you have access to God.
Yes.
And Mr. Preacher in his pyramid scheme is telling you only through me. Can you have access to God? Can you have access to the bounties of this church? And for you to have access to me, you must give up. You must level up. You must be involved in the level up this pyramid scheme so that you can have access to me, because I am the Lord your God. I am Jesus Christ. I am his ear. Yes. The closer it is you get to me, the closer you are to Jesus. In closing, I could get up now and tell you that I don't give a damn about God. Christians will not be mad. Muslims will not be mad. They will not be upset. But if I tell you that I don't give a damn about Christ, or I don't care about Muhammad, they will put a photo on my head. The church will excommunicate me because I've insulted their hero.
Yes.
But not God. Do you know why? Because God is a common denominator in most religions.
Yeah.
Believing in God does not equal to leveling up.
Yes.
Mr. Preacher, who the church or the congregation now sees as the closest thing to God. So to do everything they can to level up as close to him, because his prayer is more powerful than the one that you say in private. That's the goods that they have sold you.
That's
what I got to say about that.
Ihoma ka Chineke na-enye. Ihoma ka Chineke na-enye. God gives us nothing but good.
You said
it doesn't have to come from the pastor.
Yep.
It doesn't have to come from anywhere but right here.
Exactly.
If you believe that, if you truly believe, because any pastor who really believes in Chineke or Jesus, Allah, whatever, any pastor who believes that doesn't need your money. They're already powerful beyond measure. They already have the greatest power, wealth.
Yes.
Is that power within. An old woman in the village walks around in one outfit for a whole week. She's always smiling, always clean. She washes that all the time because she says, I have to dress my God.
Yes. Yes.
The best I can.
Yes.
She's not out here robbing anyone to try and show out. She just wears clean clothing. And when she does that, she says, oh, no money get you. Oh, no money get you. Poverty will not stop me. You did not be so.
It's true.
Poverty will not stop me.
Yes.
I use my cleanliness.
Yes.
My clothing, all that I have to honor my God. I don't need all of that stuff. Now, I am not professing that it's okay for you to become, to be without. That's not the point. The point is that you must never, ever get to the point that you steal so that you can feel closer to God. Yes. Or you allow anybody to steal and you know they're stealing so that you can get closer to God. You're already close to Chineke. You're already there. Munachiso. I am one with God. The old lady says, poverty will not stop me because I cover myself with this, what I have.
Yes.
And when I do so, I'm honoring all that I am and I'm honoring my Creator. That's Chiism.
You say?
Yes.
I'm never going to call one of you and tell you to tithe nothing.
Yes.
I can ask you voluntarily to help to build.
Yes.
But I will never call you and say, give me money for me so I can get a jet.
Nope.
If I need to get on a jet, I'll get on whatever jet exists.
United Airlines.
United Airlines. Whatever is available, I'll get on that.
To get me back to Nigeria.
I use my feet, but I will never ask you for a penny so you can get to God. Why would I do that when God is already in you?
Yes.
Yep.
That's not what I'm not talking to you here about going to heaven. I'm talking to you about honoring the heaven that's in you and making it manifest into reality.
You say?
Yes.
I don't need to know jets. Hey, if I want to buy a jet because I just want a jet and I have the money, it's one thing. But I'm not going to buy a jet so I could go preach.
Nope.
Why do I need that? I'm on StreamYard. I don't have to fly nowhere.
Right.
Everybody got a cell phone.
Everybody's got a cell phone.
Everybody got a cell phone.
Come on.
I don't need to fly.
It's a game that's being played. Now, to be fair, and this must be said, there are very good pastors out there. Very sincere preachers out there who really genuinely care about other human beings and are doing so much to be of service.
But they're in the minority.
Absolutely.
They are. But what we're saying, my brothers and sisters, Gente, if you don't listen, you will learn the hard way. If you see wrong, speak up on it. Because there are people who are so vulnerable. There are people so vulnerable. And if you don't speak for them, people take advantage of them. That's your role as a Chiist. To be the voice of the vulnerable, to help others. Because I say my ancestors, when God willing, I make it to the age of 80 and become an ancestor someday, I will walk through that. I will walk into their space and they're going to ask me, Ijigimbia, what story are you going to tell? What did you do out there? Yes. What am I going to tell them? I bought 3 jets.
Right.
Pretty much.
Is that what I'm going to say? I bought 3 jets.
That's what they'll say.
Big mansion. They will ask me, well, did you bring that with you? Where's the jet at?
Right. Absolutely.
Where's the mansion?
Absolutely.
You know, because that's not going to follow you. What follows you is your legacy.
Yes.
What you do for others Dr. Monet, do you know how it felt when those women were so happy? What did they say to us? Dr. Simmery, there's nothing we have to give you, but just our prayers.
Yes.
Just our gratitude
Yes.
for what you guys are doing to help others. That's your legacy.
Yes.
What you do for others is how you get paid.
Absolutely.
And somehow along the line, wealth may follow you just because you do the right thing.
Yes.
Good things fall into my hands, or everything negative go away. Negativity, poverty of the mind is part of what makes greedy people exist.
Yes.
Poverty of the mind. You can have all kinds of money, but check yourself. Check and see how you got that money. We did a fundraiser. The people that we did the fundraiser for, they couldn't believe that we actually gave up the money. They said they're not used to it.
Yes.
They couldn't believe it. I'm not a member of their tribe. They're not used to that either. They're used to people using them, making money off of them. They just don't even believe that what we did in their name, we turned around and gave them.
Yes.
Oh my God, did I sleep good? Did you, Dr. Monet? Yes,
absolutely.
I did.
Absolutely.
And I'm out here trying to do more. Because you may not be paid back with money. You may not be paid back with money. But what you're paid back is that joy in your heart. That joy because you did for somebody. And sometimes, believe it or not, goodness follows good deeds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It will come back to you. But don't start by cheating people. Don't start by using other people to make yourself wealthy. That is not Chiism. Akum dere upane. If you don't know how to say it, learn how to say it. Akum dere upane. What I do for others represents my wealth.
Yes.
That is where my wealth lies.
Yes.
And we have just about, let's say 1 minute. So, UD, you have 30 seconds. That's all you've got. And
real quickly, in the Bible, you're told that if Adam and Eve had not eaten the apple, we would have lived forever. The Bible history is 7,000 years old, which means that if they had not eaten the apple, people that were born 7,000 years ago would still be alive. Where would you keep them?
Yes.
In Chiism, living forever simply means that you could live forever famously or infamously. It's all about your work, your life's work, how you affected people's lives. We will never forget Martin Luther King. 1,000 years from now, 5,000 years from now, Martin Luther King is always going to live forever. We will never forget Hitler. Hitler is a lesson for us when it comes to how evil humans can be. 5,000 years from now, we will never forget about Hitler. What you do today is what's going to reverberate generations from now.
Yes.
Be known for good,
yes.
for the positive impact that you've had in your neighbor's life. Be a good person. Be spiritual. Yes. Here to everybody.
Thank you. Dr. Monet.
Yes. I would just like to say
30 seconds.
First of all, we have to understand that Chineke is much more than wealth or money, monetary money. Look at what all Chineke has given us. We're already rich. We come here rich because everything belongs to Chineke, and Chineke is inside of all of us, whatever that may be to you. And so you have to understand that giving to a pastor or any spiritual leader that asks you to give your the last of what you have in your possession at that time, it's not Chineke. No, you have to understand that we have to start looking at each other and as who we really are, which is divine. We have to see Chineke in who we are. And that goes for the pastors that are doing these things. You must see Chineke in your congregation. And that will, that will motivate you, hopefully, not to continue to take advantage of these people, Chineke's people, the people that Chineke lives inside of.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
so hopefully you change, they change their ways. If you are a pastor and you're doing that, hopefully you change your ways, because that is not the correct way to wealth.
No, it's
So
not.
that is all that I have to say in this short time.
Thank you so very much, Dibia Ochoaja Yudi. Thank you for your contribution as always.
Yes.
It's always a joy. Thank you, Dr. Monet.
Yeah, Doc. Good job.
Dibia Chidioze could not join us today because of issues with internet in Nigeria. But I want to thank all of you who joined us on Chiism Live on Facebook. Thank you so much. Those who joined us, African Spirituality, thank you so very much. We really, truly appreciate you. But before we leave today, I just want to play this video one more time. I think he says it quite well.
Undewo. Long life to y'all. Hey, how y'all doing, man? You know what I'm saying? I'm just walking out here in nature, and I just felt like I had to say thank you all for showing us the support. Because I know there's been technical problems and been a lot of things going on in the world, but y'all stay and tune in every Sunday. And I much appreciate y'all for all the support. Over 11,000. I said 11,000. 111 subs on YouTube. So much love. Appreciate y'all. And I know there's over like thousands over in Facebook. But make sure to tune into our YouTube every Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Turn on the post notifications. Like, comment, subscribe. Gosh. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. It will be much appreciated. And y'all have a wonderful day and have a blessed day. God bless you.
Anyị na-eto Chineke onye kere ụwa. Anyị na-eto Chineke eke kere ụwa. Anyị na-eto Chineke onye kere ụwa. Anyị na-eto Chineke eke kere ụwa. Maka ihe ọma niile o mere anyị. Anyị ekele Chineke. Anyị ekele onye kere ụwa maka ihe o mere anyị. Anyị na-eto Chineke, anyị ekele Ọkasọnda, anyị ekele Olodumare maka ihe o mere anyị, ọ nọ na